Perfect. So guys, welcome to today's analysis. So kama kawaida, first tunaangalia news. Leo hatuna high impact news na because time is not on our side, tutapitia sana, but it's always good to have your calendar on your side. However, on around 8 o'clock, 8 p.m., we'll be having some CPI news. So we'll be watching out for that on the USD currency pairs. But there is no high impact news apart from those. So at 8 p.m. news, if you hold trades for long amount in the market bado, then you should be a bit careful on that. Now, back to our analysis, back to our watch list. Sijui kama kuna mse wana trade crypto.
Juma. Juma.
Yeah.
Kama CPI inafanya consumer price index ina measure like the level of inflation in the country yani. So pia inatolewa month to month na inakonga poa. Pia lakini inakonga high impact.
Ndio nimesema hizi mbili ndio ziko na high impact, hii CPI. Hizi the rest hazina high impact. Sawa?
Yeah. Ndio mtu akisikia like CPI ajua tu ni consumers. Ni vitu kenye unaona kununua tu kwa duka kawaida like hadi inakonga like anything kenye unaweza consume tu kenye unaona kwa supermarkets like unapata kwa stalls like so ina measure to like the level hivyo inatumika ku measure level of yani inflation. Watu wangapi like the value like inflation iko juu ama iko chini. Last time ilikuwa 5.2. Kenya ilikuwa 6.1% inflation rate. CPI Kenya ilikuwa sijafuatilia kwa some 2 months hivi.
Okay, Ian.
Yeah.
Ian, for the purposes of analysis, I think kuna vitu zenye mse anafaa kujua na kama ajui anafaa kuuliza cause kama tutakuwa tunachambua kila kitu on details hatutawahi kumaliza nini, tutakuwa kila wakati tuna have like 2 sessions na sometimes the prolonged ones zinakuwa a bit unhealthy. It's always okay tubakishe ile chance ya mse anaweza research on themselves. Sijui kona ni get. So guys,
Juma unajua pia mazee tutasema hii mwezi hii CPI itaisha hii na hii mwezi like the next month pia tutakuwa hapa, so like unapata mtu like atakuja like hajaifanya research ya hiyo CPI hajaijua like the next time. So the next time tulikuwa nasema ndo kama next month utakuwa hapo ndo ukisikia CPI tujue tu like ina measure to inflation tu hiyo like wewe tu like lakini si kitu kubwa sana, tuchambui sana.
Okay, sawa. So sijui kama kuna mse trade crypto, Bitcoin to be specific. Nakumbuka tukiwa kwa ile webinar though tukumaliza poa, haikuwa poa sana. We talked about these and the spikes and we'll be looking to see whether this goes up again after the spike coming down, but there is a likelihood that inaweza kuja chini kidogo kuretest, but that is for crypto. Wala sisi hatuangaliangi crypto sana, but on a personal level you can always look at it. It's good, it's healthy. Can do it as an investment. So Great Britain pound against the yen for today. For this currency pair, we've been looking at a buy for the longest time. If you can see, this is a 4 hours chart. We've been looking for a buy. Unfortunately, we've not been able to reach our target. This has always been our target on the Great Britain pound against the yen. We have not been able to reach our area of our target area, but we are hoping to do so very soon. We've taken long here, but for the swing traders like Eric, I'm sure this has been a good trade for you, unless you did get in and out of the market, which about the things, such things we'll still talk about in a lot of webinars and a lot of analysis on why we should not be getting in and out unless you're a scalper. But this is a good trade, so we're still hoping to get to this place, and then we'll be watching out to see whether we breach this to the upper side or we get some retracement down. So once we reach this area, we'll be very careful. We'll not be looking for buys unless it is confirmed, because as you can see, this is a very high area of resistance that has formed here. So that is it for the Great Britain pound. We are still on a buy. For 1 hour, if you've not been in this market, It's a bit little scary for you to get in. It's a bit late for you to get in. We do not buy when the price is high. So you might not want to put this on your watch list for trading. The Great Britain pound, the GU, against the US dollar. This currency pair has been in a buy for quite some time. We've been experiencing some deep retracements, as you can see in 1 hour. You can see that we've experienced some dips, some retracement dip, but still we are holding above this guy. So we are still saying we are still in a buy territory. We still not haven't taken out these guys, and we'll be watching out to see whether we breach this area to the downside. But if we don't, we still be holding above. We still be looking for more buys. As you can see, it did come down and came up back in, but there is a correlation between the major pairs, especially gold, GU, and the EU. So until we finish the sales on the gold and the EU, we still
Juma,
might, yes.
Juma.
Mm-hmm.
Hebu penye tu umesema correlation, like nataka tu eleze what is correlation vizuri.
So in this
like which currency
so we'll go, I'll do the three of them together. And so if you look at this chart in 4 hours, you realize that it formed a double bottom, and that is why we started buying. And since this was a very strong support area, and there is a previous one, if you look at it in a daily chart, you can see there was another previous one, a double bottom. And in this case, the reason why I'm saying there's a correlation is because the GU will not move up unless, okay, first of all, we must agree that the LCM, unakumbuka LCM, least common denominator, ama ilikuwa inaitwaje? Yeah, of these currency pairs that I've mentioned is the USD, right?
Yeah.
So because it is the base currency, because the LCM, the bottom line of this currency is USD, then we expect that the strength of the USD will affect both currencies almost similar. But because of geographical and political and other means, you find that the Great Britain pound or the euro or the gold might react quickly than the other, but in the long run, they move almost together. Sijui kama tunapatana. So when I say that there's a correlation between the GU, is look at this chart, it is a buy. Look at this out, it's been a buy, the Aussie. Look at the EU, it's been a buy, almost similar setups because we are looking at the same setups. Look at this, it's a buy, almost similar setups. And we look at the gold. Let's look at the gold. You see the same similar setup, the V setup. Sijui kama tunaona.
Yeah, inaonekana.
So when I say there's a correlation, it means that these currency pairs, most of the time, they perform almost similar movements, only that the small details, the news and some other things make them move up very slowly and some very fast. So as we are looking for the GU, we are expecting that it will only breach this area if the EU, you see the EU is a bit down, ilikuwa ime retrace for a long time. If the EU comes back to the neckline, if the EU comes back to the neckline. And guys, remember yesterday we were looking at some cells. It didn't move very much since tukifanya analysis, because I think tukifanya analysis tulikuwa mahali hapa. It moved very few pips and then it went back right in. So again, it's always to take care because this is an area of interest. As you can see, this has always been an area of interest. So meaning that these guys are still very strong. This resistance area, which is a support now, was not breached to the downside. So we'll be looking to see whether we breach this to the downside kidogo before we look for more buys. But guys, this market is still bullish in the long run, but in the short term, we could sell the retracements. That is what I want to make it clear. We might have retraced because of the biggest resistance area, but in the long run, we're still looking for the buys. So today we'll be looking to see whether we'll have some little retracement before we get back into the buys. This will be determined again with the GU, how it behaves. So the GU is still a bit undecided. It might range for quite some time. It might come down and up, but we're still watching until we finish the momentum with gold as well. As you can see, this is an area of interest for gold. You can see that this is an area of interest, and gold, if you look at gold in 1 hour, you'll see that it was unable to breach this area. It did come down and went back right in. You kama tunaona, it did come down and did come back in. If you look at this, let me use this in 1 hour. You can see that there's a resistance area, a very strong resistance area here. The wicks did try to breach to the downside. They were unable. They did come back right in. They tried another time. The price was rejected very quickly. They tried another time. The price was rejected very quickly as well. So this means that this is a very strong support area. And since our trend is upward, we are looking for buys. This is just a retracement, and we've been expecting this retracement. However, since we reach this area, remember I said once we reach this area, we'll not be looking for any more buys until we get a price action confirmation, and that is what we've been waiting for. So once we hit our take profit previously, we've not been looking for buys unless they are short-term buys, the ones that you buy for a day, an hour, like the sales. I'm sure some of you guys did capture the sales. This has been forming for a weekend. So as for me, I did capture this, but in the long run, we've been looking for a buy. I'm sure some of you did capture, but this now is a very, very strange area, since until we finish this and we start moving up, then we'll be looking for buys in the correlated currency pairs that I've mentioned. That is when we'll be looking for buys. Sijui kama tunaelewana. Any question? Seems like we've all understood. Ama hatujaelewa hata kidogo. I don't know which is which, but by then, once this currency pair starts moving and the other one starts moving, then we'll also be looking for the GU to breach this area to the upper side. We'll be looking for the GU to breach this area to hit at least our first take profit, which will be here. So right now, we'll be waiting for both USD currency pairs, for all of them, but we'll be looking to see whether we'll get entries. For the Aussie dollar, this is a very strong resistance area. Let me show you. This is a very strong resistance area. Mtu akicheka ataninunulia breakfast. This is a very strong resistance.
Horizontal ray.
Sikuwa nafikiria hivyo. Sijakula breko. So this is a very strong resistance support area. So this SNR area, we'll be looking to see whether we'll get buys. But if we breach this area, then we'll be looking for no trades in this currency. We'll be looking for no trades. We'll not be looking for sells, because we do not know whether sells will come to challenge this area or even come down, or even just spike down, take us out and come back right in. So we'll not be looking for any sells for today. Neither will we be looking for buys unless we get a good price action signal. So let's say out of this, unless you did buy down here and you're still in the long run, you're still looking to make higher highs, which we are, since we did breach this area, as you can see, then I suggest that you stay out of the market for today. But once we get a good price action around here, we'll be looking for buys. So our first buy will be where I have put our this trend line, this support trend line. Once we hit this trend line, we might be looking for buys here. So our stop loss, will place it down a little bit. We'll place this will be our stop loss here. Once we reach that area to the downside, we'll not be looking for any buys. But we are positive that once we reach this trend line, we might get buys. And even if we don't come down to this trend line, we must be looking for buys around here. But again, remember, like I've said, the GU, the AUD, the Aussie, the EU, and the gold will give us a good signal on the entry positions. And you can see even the gold has been able to reach this area to the downside. So we'll be looking for buys as well. But again, let's be careful in case it decides to come and challenge this support area. But in the long run, we're still looking for buys. Up to there, tuko sawa? I assume you're good. Perfect. So the USD card. So for the USD card, we've been looking for this market with a different eye. We've been patient with this currency pair, haitaki perform, meaning wakati ita breakout, we'll be looking for a very, very long-term trend on this currency pair. More likely, we'll be looking for sells now that we've tried to retrace up to this side and we were unable. Still, we haven't finished the retracement, as you can see. We haven't finished, and since we are unable to breach this area to the upper side, we may not say that the buyers are still very powerful since they've stayed in this area for so long. So we'll be looking to get our entries on either the sells or the buys, but in the short term, we might come to retrace to challenge this area. And if we do not make it to the upper high, and if we do not make it to this upper high first, neither this, then we'll be looking for sells. Because you can see it has tried a number of times coming up and it was unable to breach this area to the upside. So meaning, since we are holding below these guys who did sell up here, we might be looking for sells. But again, we do have very strong support areas. So these are areas to watch out for the day. Ian, sijui unaonaje about this currency pair?
USD card imekuwa sana sana on my watch list actually. Last week ilikuwa inasell kiasi, lakini niko na point hapo hiyo, like niko na point ya 1.2621. Hiyo ni penye sign like na watch closely hapo juu, like that was my previous resistance zone, ikachange ikakuwa my current support zone. So venye nilikuja nikabridge that zone hapo hivyo, niliona like ilikuja ka retest once ndio tukabridge below it, but again recover that point. Lakini for saa hii unaweza angalia like actually what the price is doing. Unajua tulikuwa na some point ukiangalia like more so on the 1 hour. When you go to 1 hour, like you can see hapo hivi kuna point at 1.26739 hapo hivyo around there. Ndio unapata like actually hapo ndo bulls actually walipita the previous resistance. Inamaanisha to the previous resistance niki like I'm talking more, acha ni anonate kiasi tu nikuoneshe. I'm talking more about this place hapa. So when to bridge that place hapo hivyo ndo actually ikanionyesha like the bulls actually wamekuja juu kiasi, ndo wali score a point actually tu walikuja tu juu. So kutokea hapo hivyo naangalia like actually baada ya kupata hapo nilikuwa nataka kuangalia some retracements back, lakini niko na hiyo point ya 1.26211 hapo hivyo ndo point Kenya mimi naangalia hadi venye the market actually is dropping to that point actually ni small volume. Ukiangalia like ni volume kidogo sana inaendelea like to that point. Nikipata like yani hiyo nikipata the same volume ikielekea to that point actually hapo even I want to see like it confirming kwamba hapo even is currently my support zone. Do like baada sisi kutoka from that zone actually hatujai confirm kwamba actually we held that zone as our support zone. So kutoka hapo hivi I'll be looking for buys at the highest point hapo hivi at 1.27622 hapo. Hapo hivi ndo tuna target where actually NFP ndo ilitufikisha. Kutoka hapo sasa I'll be looking for buys to zaidi. Yeah, the highest point kabisa huko.
Okay, so for me nitasema tukue very careful because unaona kuna hii area hapa hivi, kuna hii resistance area tunakuwa tukiform hapa hivi, tunaweza move nini hata juu kidogo. Unaona hapo tumejaribu kubreach, ukiangalia
na
hii
pia ujue tuko na support fulani ya trend line.
Hapa ilijaribu kubreach ikakataa very quickly. Hapa pia iku hold on for long na imekataa pia hapa kubreach hapa. And considering that the AUSI, the GU, the EU, we are saying that we are an uptrend, this is the opposite of them. So there is a likelihood that we might be looking for sales as well. But most likely inaka like tutarange kidogo before the market decides on what to do. Sijui kama tuko pamoja. Because if you look at these charts,
tukiendelea the same volume Kenya tunakuja nayo kuteremka chini.
Angalia hii chart in this is a weekly chart. Unaona it's been still sells. So wakati walifika kwa hii support area wamejaribu ku retrace back but hawaja make highs. So there is a likelihood maybe watakam ku retest the lowest price before they start buying, and that will be like in 1-2 months time. Naona. So we'll be watching for that here. So naona tukue careful about these currency pair. But as long as we have not breached this area to the upside, then we'll not be looking for more buys to breach this area to the upper side. We'll only be looking for what Ian is saying, this area up here. For me, to be safe, nitakuwa naangalia tu hii area niko. The mali nimedraw the horizontal line. That is to be safe.
Pia like if you can see like tuko na some structure kenye ina form across huku. Like somewhere hapo hivyo unaona like there is a trend line actually we are trying to form from that position hapo. Like unaona like your trend line itakuza like more than 3 points and actually ni valid sana. Ingala like hiyo ndio inanisaidia like ni give more like of a support zone. Like if the market actually drop sana hiyo on the 1 hour, nataka hit that
trend line fast.
Like more bouncing off. Always sell like already which is already selling. Like we want to sell a market kenye bado like a lot of buyers hapo bado. You want to sell the market kenye watu wanaendelea kubuy juu like everybody when is buying, actually we should be looking for selling positions. Now when everybody is selling, actually we should be looking for buying positions. So sasa tu ni kuangalia like actually how the market is chini kuja tu like in. Like for me hit that trend line vizuri naweza angalia like the bounce of kwa price hapo ni paid like some candlestick mzuri for buying. Like nipate pali kama hapo the market actually kuja ihama in on that trend line. Nitakuwa imeconfirm kwamba that trend line actually is valid.
Yeah, true.
Lakini nakuanga very nice pair. Mimi nakuanga very profitable of the US dollar na Canadian dollar.
That is good. So
Naitwa Mali.
Malin. Ni Mali nama ni Malin nama.
Malin.
Awesome. Nakusikia. Mambo.
So nilikuwa nimepata a bit of trouble logging in the morning.
Okay.
But I sorted it.
It's okay. Karibu sana.
Nimekuja kama nimechelewa. Asante.
Haina shida. So tunaelewana ama uko nje cause wewe uongeangi.
Me, I'm still learning. But I feel like for this USD card it would be safer to just wait for it to leave the range.
Yes. So once it breaks out, I'm sure it will give us a very good signal. But still, because we've been held in this mess, we're still let's be very careful. Risk management pia tutumie very high. So jana tuliangalia USD JPY pia tukiwa na Ian. For me USD JPY jana nilikuwa na buy. Sikumbuki tulikuwa, I think by the time we were doing our analysis we were around hapa tulikuwa around hii place. So it did buy some few pips and then came back right in, and then in the morning leo we may get back into what we were expecting. Remember that our target area was here because we are still in a range, so we're just playing inside the consolidation area. As you can see, this is a consolidation area. We're just playing inside the consolidation area. So I'll be taking my profits anytime because I'm not sure vile imeanza kubehave kama will be able to breach even this line that we drew here to challenge the highest price, or it might go back to this trend line. Okay, yes.
Mi naweza kwambia to hold it, like unaona like hadi points kenye umechora ya 110 hapo, like 110.2 something hapo hivyo, like that point actually
uko positive about that.
I'm still positive it hit that point actually before actually coming back ama the retracement. That point kenye ni umeweka hapo hivyo ni clearly that is more over that is more of a resistance zone.
Well,
like hapo penye prices actually for a long period of time.
Well, I'm trailing my stop loss. Yeah.
Trail tu. Hiyo itakuwa poa. Trail your stop losses. Kuna on the 4 hour kuna penye actually the market ilikuja ikahama in, like anaama kwa an uptrend ikipandanga juu. Like market imehama in ikipandanga juu.
Aya, Angela.
So like
unajua what trailing a stop loss is?
Unaifuatishanga kwa the nearest support ya juu.
Unajua what trailing stop loss is?
Yes.
Angela's trailing stop loss. It's whereby price move according to what you are expecting, you change your stop loss to break even or even profit, such that hata ikirudi nyuma ama if the trade goes against you, it will just hit a stop loss that is in profits. Sijui kama umeniget? That is trailing stop loss. Nimesema hivyo because kuna wasee kadhaa waliniuliza hiyo swali and I was like, that is very obvious. I mean, ukifunza mtu unajua una expect that these things are normal, alafu una realize they do not understand them.
Jua hadi hapo mtu anashangaa like trailing your stop loss, mtu ujuaje kustack your bag, like kishaanza kulipa from the market, actually what do you do? Like songesha stop loss kwanza to break even, anza kustack your bag, anza kuchukua hiyo pesa ingiza kwa account yako please. Like lakini pia usikwanga like una more greed, like unataka sasa ku straight, yani una trail your stop loss much near up, like pia unafaa kuachilia hiyo trade breed, like iko na some space
cause inaweza ku take out very quickly pia. So I'm trailing my stop loss here at this area, at the recent support area. If you look at it in a lower time frame, if you look at it in a lower TF, we'll be looking to this SNR area, ndio nina trail stop loss yangu, but yeah, something like that. So acha tutaona what itatupatia.
Lakini mazee tutoke nje out of this trade. This range tutoke hapo hivyo.
Tukitoka tutakuwa safe.
Sana. Nashukuru ni aje tukitoka out of that range.
Mimi Windows inanishindanga. Tulikuwa oil, hatujaangalia oil. Naona time yetu imeisha na since tumefanya correlation, there is not much that we look at in the other currency pairs. Kwa hivyo tuangalia oil kwanza. So for oil, for oil, this is how oil has been. This is Euro USD. For oil, this is how oil has been. Guys, remember, tulipofika upper area nilisema we'll be looking to see whether we'll breach this area to the downside, and if we did, we would not be looking for any buys nor sells. But see, the market did come right in. It was unable to breach this support area, the last support area, and did get its buys. So we are still very bullish on this market. Remember, our area of target after we breached this area was this area up here. This is our area of interest now, since we breached this area to the upper side. But again, remember the pip value of oil is very high. A lot of news also happens, so we'll be watching. So we might be going, but forming a very high SNR patterns. We might get big SNR patterns. Right now, it's a very smooth flow. It just formed a very few in the lower time frame. But in the long run, we'll be looking to see whether we reach these areas our take profit. And once we reach this area again, we'll be looking to make even higher highs. But for now, this is our area of interest. So if you did, if you are not in this market currently, if you are not on this trade, it's a bit late to get into it. So let's wait to see whether it goes up kidogo, retraces, or even retraces at the point that it is at, and then we'll get our buys there and move back in and make even higher highs. Any question on that?
Missing a question for oil. I'm very bullish on it.
Good. So for silver, silver and gold belongs to God. This can be a blessing and can also be a disguise. But as you can see, guys, we are in that area again where we said about gold, very resistance area. If we breach this area to the downside, we'll not be looking for any sells, neither buys. But since we are still holding above and we are unable to breach these wicks, you can see that this is a wick, this is a fake, because it just came in and came back. Like the price was rejected very quickly, just as it was before. So we'll be looking to make higher highs, but we'll be watching to get our entries. Right now we're in a retracement. So once these finishes to perform and even comes back right in, we'll be looking to make higher highs, and first we'll be looking to reach this trend line before we make higher highs. Once we breach this trend line, we'll be looking to see whether we breach this area, and this area might be aligned to the trend line as well. So that will be our area of interest first. Once we breach that area to the upper side, we'll be looking to make higher highs and reach our target, which is here. So, but first, this is our area of interest. This is our area of interest. So once we reach this area, we'll not be looking for more buys until we get a good retracement, and then we get back right in. We might even breach it in one time, but on the way, we'll look for another retracement and get back in. That is it for the silver. For the gold as well, tulikuwa tumeipitia wakati tulikuwa tunaangalia correlation, tukasema we are in a very tight spot here, and once we breach this area to the downside, we'll not be looking for any trades because as you can see, gold inaweza kuchezea. I know last week najua these currency pairs zilitoa watu wengi sana, especially those who had bought in very late, because a number of people did buy in here. So kama ulibuy huku, of course ungetolewa. Kama ulibuy so much up, kama ulikuwa na expect itafika kwa hii resistance area alafu ipande tena, then you are taken out. Unless ulikuwa na swing and you did buy down here or here. So we'll be looking to make higher highs, but we'll not be looking to break this area, but we'll be watching out again. Remember, the market has its own brain. Sisi tunafanya our best, but again, we wait out for the market to play out the way it wants. So guys, our time is up. I'm so happy for you guys. Keep joining. We'll keep learning, educating each other. Subscribe to our channel. Angalia hizi vitu like backtesting. They'll help you a lot. And see you guys. May the pips be with you.
The pips be with us all.
With you too, Mazen.
Thank you.